Welcome to the Homeschool Together podcast. Where one working mom and a stay-at-home dad help you navigate the nuts and bolts of the growing and dynamic world of homeschooling.
With a focus on early learners, like me.
All the ins and outs of building and maintaining your homeschool life.
Homeschool.
Find out tips and tricks to make things like this easier.
I'm reading.
And ultimately, enjoy educating your kids. And what's that last thing?
Have fun together. Did I do good, Daddy?
Yeah, you did, sweetie. Good job. Hello and welcome back to Homeschool Together. We hope you are having a good start to your year. If you do follow the homeschool year with the calendar year and the school year. Before we go, let's head down below and click on some links on the various things. Leave us some reviews. Check out the links we may have in the show notes. Head over to YouTube. Watch my goofy face and that beautiful face over there talk about the summer of science, which has now gone into the fall of science.
You know, listen,
life happens. Literally, the title of the show is the reason why it's now the fall of science.
That's right.
Not the downfall of science, but the fall of science.
Yeah, it's
and
okay.
We will be finishing the next few weeks. So head on over to YouTube. Check out that YouTube series if you are thinking about doing the Blossom and Root Space Science.
Or any space science, really. We've had a ball adding in our older learner here because that Blossom and Root is for kinder, and we have a first grader, so it's roughly sized.
We've done the double leveling up there. We've leveled up for our oldest, who's 10, fourth grader. Technically fourth grader, and then also we leveled up to adults as well. We have a lot of adult recommendations, so if you really want to dive in with your students, there's a lot of great recommendations there, and we'll be doing some wrap-up videos in the coming weeks.
Yeah, we're watching a lot of sci-fi. We're having a really good time.
I'm reading a lot of sci-fi, watching a lot of sci-fi, really just enjoying it. It's been a really cool journey, and as busy as we are, we're about to talk about that. This has been a nice little oasis of fun for us. So head on over there, check that out. We have a nice little playlist available for you if you want to go ahead and binge that. You're end of the night, you're relaxing, you want to watch some yahoos talk about science. That'd be kind of fun. Now, we all know it. We are feeling it deeply. The title of the show, we're going to do a little two-parter here about juggling with homeschooling. We know a lot of you guys are out there who are thinking about, like, I feel like I can't breathe. The water is up to my chin. How am I going to survive this?
We so feel this.
We feel this so much right now. Like
so acutely.
It's so hard to even articulate how busy this family household is right now. And it is going to be like this to the end of January. But then it's going to be like a Band-Aid rips off. And it's going to be amazing. It's going to be one of those things where like you open the door and you're going to be able to breathe.
I mean, now.
The sun will be shining and it'll be awesome. And you'll be like, what's going on? What is this magical world? But man, is it?
I know. I'm going to be going into the final year of my MBA as well, and so it's gonna.
Who cares about you? I'm going to feel good.
I mean, yeah. We're doing a couple spring shows this year. It's going to be crazy. But so what we wanted to do was really do kind of a two-parter. This first episode, we really want to talk about kind of mindset, some high-level stuff, and then next week we're going to get into really practical tools and just really like get in kind of tactical with the structural things that you can do, because this is a problem. I don't remember which listener emailed me maybe or Facebook messaged me. I don't remember. A lot of folks reach out to me, which I love, by the way. Keep doing that. It's great. And said, could you just do one about like juggling all the things? And I'm like, wait a minute, that's my life. We're all juggling all the things. And I don't think we've ever talked to, maybe we talked to the occasional homeschooler who's not spinning all the plates in the air at once, but just about all of us are. I think, we kind of take on as much as we can until we break.
But
right?
also for each and every family and each and every person, the level of juggling is different.
Sure.
Right? Like you may hear what we are saying, but then, your household may be even more chaotic or crazy, and you may have more things going on.
Right.
And you may have family members that are dealing with issues or whatever it is. Whatever that level is, even if you have kind of a sleepy homeschool existence, even within that, whatever that norm is, you can have elements of busyness and having to juggle things and things that stress you out.
And everyone has a different threshold, right?
Absolutely.
Some folks, what we're doing right now in our lives, even without extracurriculars, would be like, whoa, I'm over the top. Yeah. And then we add in things like dance and volleyball and Girl Scouts and things. And
school and jobs and all that stuff.
Yeah. And so everyone has a different point. And I think one of the things that can be challenging, as much as I love a homeschool community, right? We have to find the people that help to support us, those other moms and dads and grandparents, whoever's doing the home educating, that we can kind of commiserate with. I definitely want to be a little bit careful about, going into this space and you hear what somebody's doing. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing anything even close to that. And I feel overwhelmed and up to my eyeballs. That is totally okay. It's like, it's not a contest and that's totally valid. If you feel that way, it doesn't matter what's going on and how much less you're doing than somebody else or whatever. It's for everyone. It's valid. It's valid how you feel. And the whole idea here is just to help you feel like, okay, how can I take everything that we've got going on and really keep it all going and not stress myself out, right? Because we can do it all and I can be a total anxiety wreck, or we can do it all and we're still pedaling and doing okay. And that's where we're at. So there's going to be times that are busier that we just kind of make it through, and then there's going to be normal times. But like, how do we juggle it all?
Well, I think the biggest thing that, for us as homeschoolers, I mean, we may have busy lives. There are people out there in the non-homeschooling world that have very busy lives. But they're not dealing with the educational burdens and the yoke that's over our shoulders of knowing that, hey, we're doing our own home educating of our children, which is a huge commitment and a huge amount of work. I think the number one thing that we always, struggle with, if you're layering additional things like activities and sports, and maybe you have some school or business things, or maybe you're relocating because you're getting deployed family members being deployed somewhere, or whatnot, or you're in a flux on your living situation, whatever that might be, the first thing that we always think about is, am I doing enough homeschooling? Because that's kind of like,
right.
I mean, it's the root of what we and the people who are listening right now, what we all have in common, which is the home educating element, and that question of, am I doing enough? And am I not doing enough? Am I ruining my children in some respect? Or
it's a lot of pressure.
Am I taking the number one priority in my life is my children's education, but am I, like, this is something, not saying that you listening have this, but me, am I being selfish doing these other things? And is that causing an impact on my children? I always think about that. Like, is this thing that I'm doing worth it? Well, yes, it's a short-term thing. Anyone can do anything for a short period of time. January 30th, I'm looking at your number right now.
Well, but I it could also be self-care things, right? Like, I'm involved in community theater. I love it. It's something that totally fulfills me, and that's personally.
That's important to you.
It's important to me, but it takes evenings away from my family, and I do feel bad about that too. But you're right. This whole thought of like, am I doing enough for them? It's what we're really talking about is like, it's a mindset shift. Right? We have to let go of this kind of narrative of like, you're falling behind. We got to let go of this. Falling behind who? Right? So we're homeschooling at our kids' pace. I think if we are homeschooling at the pace that they need, we're working along with them. The public school benchmarks, as much as we've been talking about state standards for the last few weeks, that's not the important point. The important point is that you've got this one-on-one learning environment, working with your kids at the pace that they need you to teach them. So, if you focus there, then it's not about like, well, we should have gotten 3 pages of math done this week, but we didn't because blah, blah, blah. There's some weeks where we don't get that much done because we needed whatever. We had a kid that was sick. We had something else, going on that was distracting or difficult.
Something that happened this week was we negotiated some pages away. Like my daughter finished the first half of Math Mammoth, the book A, and we were moving into book 2, and she looked at me and she said, Dad, can I negotiate a couple days off on math? And I said, to celebrate, the achievement of the midpoint, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll absolutely grant you that. So like, it doesn't always have to be this linear thing as you're just stepping every single day. You can take days off, you can shift days, you can trade days. Right now we're in order to make it to January 30th, we are leveraging others' help.
Yeah,
Your
we're like
help.
group homeschooling.
Yeah, we're group homeschooling right now. My mom and my father are taking the kids on one day a week, and they are doing the homeschooling those days.
They're like doing like double homeschool that day, so that the day they're with me, they don't have to do as much.
Exactly.
And I can do science and other things.
And we negotiate extra TV, morning TV time for the girls. If you can do your homeschool with grandma double day, we'll give you a half day Friday off, and you can watch, I don't know,
cartoons in the morning. We're very excited about. It's interesting that you say that about like, okay, we've negotiated days off for these different things, because it's also there's times that are easier. There's days when, our daughters just totally get what we're doing, and it's like just routine. Okay, we're going to do these 2 pages of math, no big deal. There's other days when those were a hard fought 2 pages or even half a page because the material was really tough.
Well, there were a lot of problems on that page, or it's a whole page of word problems, and we all know word problems are really challenging.
They're really challenging.
So maybe we only do 1 page, or maybe we only do half a page. I've actually noticed this with my youngest, where we're moving through the Math Mammoth 1 curriculum, and some pages, man, we move pretty quick. Like bang, bang, we knock out the 2 pages. But then some days I'm looking down, I'm like, my goodness, there's 30 problems across only a page and a half. I'm like, okay, we're doing 1 page today.
So,
and that's it.
I think what's important, it's not it's not this micro view of the day to day. And obviously you need to do as much homeschooling as you feel that you reasonably can and that your learner will be receptive to. Right. Yeah. And it's not about the individuals. It's almost like the stock market, right? Yeah. You look at it up close and it's jagged and it's all going all over the place, right? They have up days and down days and whatever. But you look at the overall trend of a year or 5 years, and that's up. And so I think that's where we want to kind of focus.
The goal of mastery, not tasking, is kind of like that idea where we're just doing, we got to do 2 pages every day. That might even be the homeschool equivalent of grades and schedule, and like kind of a public school
we
type
definitely
of thing.
Have these goals, but I just think every day doesn't look the same. We have to let go of this, like, oh, I didn't get 2 pages done, we're falling behind, we're gonna have to catch up an extra page this weekend.
Well, and this is the definition of enough. Like, am I doing enough?
Right. I mean, I think it's this balance. We all know that we're in this to give our kids the best education that we can. None of us are approaching this with the idea that we're going to slack off on math or whatever. That's not the goal, right? We're going to put in as much time as we can and as our kids are going to be receptive to. And then all the rest of this whole like falling behind, not doing enough, we just have to let it go and look at the long-term view so that we don't stress ourselves out with the day-to-day of each individual subject.
And as educators, we're really trying to maintain that emotional connection. I think more than like, oh, did I do 2 pages? I want to make sure I have that emotional connection, and that we maintain that curiosity of learning, that love of learning, the kind of that growth mindset with our children. And as long as we can maintain those things, those will help us move forward faster than if we just rigidly stick to a schedule of completion-oriented homeschooling.
Yeah.
Right. Or
I love to check good boxes, right?
I love to check a box.
It feels very satisfying.
2 pages of word letters can either go quickly or really, really slowly, depending on the day.
And if we make our kids just like slog through something that's horrible, it's going to affect us on the back end, right? The next time that we're going to try to do that, then it's going to be like, I don't want to touch that because my last experience with that was horrible.
Well, yeah. And even considering busy seasons for us, when you're in the play, that's busy season. When we're doing plays or maybe in sports seasons as well.
Yeah.
That can be very busy.
We have peak busy seasons. Fall is a very busy season. Everything's starting back up and it all kind of starts up with a vengeance. But I think at the end of the week, ask yourself, did we connect? Did I connect with my learner? Did we grow? If yes, that was enough for the week, right? Yeah. I mean, you can do assessments at the end of the year. You can see where you're at. You can see which areas you might want to focus more on. But at the end of the day, are they growing and learning? Are you connecting with them? If you've got those pieces, then you're gonna be okay.
I think, and it's a good thing to use to leverage moving forward, especially when you're defining that day. And we are in the corporate world, product world, we always talk about minimal viable product. But here in this case, we're talking about minimal viable day. What does that minimal viable day look to you? Yeah. The thing that I have to do, the thing that we need to do. It could look different between homeschool to homeschool, child to child, will vary there. But establishing that minimal viable day and knowing that that day doesn't have to be a Monday, it can be a Sunday, or it doesn't have to be in the fall, it can also be in the summer, and kind of leveraging and thinking through the year, the month, the week, the day, and understanding how that all fits together, kind of like the Lego bricks of your homeschool, and how you can leverage the things into that day so all right, at a minimum, we did good things today.
Right.
For you, that might just be because your learner is a year ahead in math. Hey, man, we got a couple down days, a few down weeks in math. We only moved at like a half a page a day or a page a day. That's, who cares? I'm a year and a half ahead according to, the numbers. But my reader needs to read every day, right? And that's my minimal viable product. Or my reader needs to do some type of critical thinking, writing experiment, writing activity or whatever it is. That's my minimal viable product. I want my learner to engage in their hobbies and be creative alongside, X, Y, or Z thing, like whatever that thing is.
It might not be a minimum viable day. It might be a minimum viable week, right? By the end of the week, these are the things. If
day to day can be so chaotic.
Yeah. If everything else went to heck in a handbasket, what would you say, like, we were successful this week if we got this done? For us, more than reading lessons, it's that our girls are reading. So that, 20 minutes of reading a day for our older daughter, that's the thing that we just don't sacrifice, because that's where we're trying to build that stamina. She's getting so much more exposure to words. She's starting to enjoy reading. It's too important, right? If phonics didn't happen today for whatever reason, we'll catch it tomorrow. But the reading, the independent reading, is really important. Now, that is not the same as it was last year. Last year, it was like we wanted to get a reading lesson in. It was really important that we covered at least one reading lesson a week. We want to touch math every day. So these are the couple of things for us. But yours could be totally different, and it could be a week or this in a month or whatever your thing is. But you kind of need to come up with, if everything else went down, what am I okay with? What can I live with? And for us, if our daughter doesn't get her science workbook done this week for whatever reason, we could probably figure that out, but we want to make sure she's reading. So, whatever it is for you. Yeah,
it's almost like the habit. Like, if you think about a habit tracker, it's that minimal thing that you do every day. Everything else may not be accomplished, but I'll drink, 8 glasses of water a day, and I will, go walk and get 10,000 steps, or whatever that habit is. Like, the homeschool habit is that minimal viable product.
Yeah.
I think you had a good idea here about, having that sticky note that just says, all right, if you can accomplish these minimal things, that's great. We can do more things on top of this, obviously. But man, if I could just get these few things done every day, that would make me feel really good. And I know my student is making progress. And, we know homeschool happens everywhere at all times. It's not just at the kitchen table. It's not just at a desk in a classroom. Homeschooling is all the time. Learning is everywhere. And we as homeschoolers, we embrace that.
But yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Having that minimal thing there is helpful.
It's really helpful because it helps us with the guilt that we feel when we didn't get something done.
Am I doing enough? Do I have enough work done?
Right, because the moment that your day goes off course, for whatever the reason is, I don't know why, but you're immediately like, I'm not doing a good job at this, right? Like, why didn't I should have gotten up earlier. We should have started earlier, so you start to feel, were my plans too grand? Did I do too much? Then it's just this whole thing, it spirals. So yeah, come up with what your minimum viable thing is, put it on a sticky note on the fridge. And when you're feeling like, just remind yourself, hey, we did this today. So it's all okay.
Absolutely. And I think kind of keying in on that minimal viable day, this idea of, scheduling to anchors and not clocks and hours.
It's a big one.
Because a lot of times we're thinking, we got to do this in this amount of time. We got to do this in this amount of time.
I tried to put schedules on the windows, like, I don't know, last year or whatever. I made these big, like, poster board schedules.
I can't tell you how many times we have tried different systems in this household
to
do different things.
Then we tell you all about them, like they're like the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then they don't work for us and we have to switch it up. So if you have to switch it up every 3 months or 6 months or whatever, you're not alone.
We're always sharing what we're doing. We never share the failures. We should have a couple episodes on like everything that has failed so far.
Well, we're pretty pretty transparent about it, right?
Yeah,
we did Kanban for a while and that failed. We have no lie, you guys. I did one of these.
But the most successful thing we've done so far is the whiteboard with the 1 to 10. This is what we got to do.
That was pretty helpful.
That one's been really good.
Yeah. So no lie, you guys. I like totally Pinterest, right? And I got a picture frame, and then I made. Yeah, he's already laughing. And I got.
What did I want?
No.
I wanted a TV hanging with a Raspberry Pi and a calendar.
This was years
and a
ago.
To-do list.
No, this was years ago. Before you wanted that, I saw
that.
this super cool thing at somebody else's house, and then I saw it on Pinterest. And it's basically you got a picture frame, and then you got construction paper, and you cut out all the squares so that you could make a calendar, and you could put it in the picture frame. Then you could write on it with a grease marker, right? And so you could make your own custom calendar. And it's like 16 by 22. It's really big. It's in our kitchen. It currently says December of 2023 on it.
Doesn't say the date. It's just December,
but it's 2023. So literally, guys, there is a calendar in the other room that I still have not cleaned off because I was like, this system's going to work. And
it's always December.
We kept it up for quite a while, and it's almost 2 years old, and it's still there. So anyways, systems. So you may have systems as well that don't work. And we tried the schedule thing and that didn't work. And what we really found, no matter how we document it or tell our kids what we're going to do, whether we put it on a whiteboard or we use Trello or whatever we do, whatever the flavor of the month is, that's not still set in 2023.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it always comes down to natural anchors, right? Yeah. It's like, hey, they know they get up and have breakfast and they do their workbooks while they eat breakfast. This is a natural anchor of the day. It doesn't matter what time breakfast is. It could be at 7:30. It could be at 8 o'clock.
This is the Atomic Habits James Clear thing.
Right.
Yes. We love this book.
Right. That is the best book we've read.
Okay, we need to do a whole podcast on that book.
That book is fabulous. Yeah, we should. But so like that's one that's a natural anchor. Maybe at lunchtime every day, that's when you guys talk about the books that you're reading. Mm-hmm. That's that natural anchor. So trying to schedule yourself or overschedule yourself by the hour is just... Yeah.
This is the idea of
not helpful.
Of taking something, the anchor is using something that's going to happen anyways to then trigger the new habit to occur. So you had a great example.
Or reinforce a habit that's currently happening at the time.
Reinforce a habit. So like if you come downstairs and you make your coffee in the morning and you want to have a new habit that is a morning thing, maybe you get a quick 500 steps or 1,000 steps or something like that.
While your coffee's brewing.
While your coffee is brewing. And so the anchor and the trigger is this thing that happens every day regardless, right? And so you go and do that thing, like, because when the minute you set it and you start it, you say, okay, this is when I'm going to do this thing. Maybe you're a writer, maybe you're organizing your house. You say, okay, these 5 minutes, I'm going to organize this section. You have this great thing where you have broken up the house into like 100 different spots.
Oh yeah.
And
my clean of the week.
Your clean of the week. And what you go in and it's so small, it's something that can be done in 10, 15 minutes or something like that. And so using an anchor that naturally happens, like what you said, breakfast with the children is a great time to read. Lunchtime may be a good time for me to do X. Or my students go to dance class, so I have an uninterrupted 45 minutes with each of my students at that, or my children at that time. And that gives me an opportunity to do one-on-one reading lessons, right? These are these anchors that are going to happen regardless of what happens, and using those moments to trigger something new.
Yeah, they're predictable moments, right? Yeah. You know that they're going to happen, and you just assign something to them. Maybe it's something that's already happening, but you're right. It could be something new. So on Fridays, we have lunch, and the girls clean up before the weekend, and I do my one clean of the week on Fridays at lunchtime. And that's my check it off. And you're right. It only takes just a few minutes, and I organize something that maybe hasn't been touched since we moved in 7 years ago. Ask me how many areas of the clean of the week have been something
so true.
I did. I really literally broke the house into, I did this big spreadsheet. I went to every room and I closed my eyes and I thought about all the different areas that I could break up into something that was small and manageable. And I put it in a giant spreadsheet. And then it randomly generates a number every week. And it's like, oh, that's the thing. So this week it's the dining room left side upper cabinet. Now, not all the cabinets, not the whole left side, just the left side upper one, because it's something small and manageable. And that's really worked for me. So whatever works for you, come up with moments in your day that you're going to have anyway and find ways to use that time And then you don't have to worry about like, oh, where did it fit on the schedule? Because you know it's going to happen anyhow.
Absolutely. Another idea here is to prioritize the big three. Obviously we have these important things that we need to do. You may have, academic goals, you may have enrichment goals, you have family life. I think these are the big key pieces that we want to focus on as a homeschool.
So this is kind of a variation on the minimum viable day or whatever, right? So your minimum viable day is like, if I did nothing else, I feel good because I got this thing done.
It could be almost academic focused, but this is more like academic plus.
Right. So this is like saying like, this week, this is my focus, right? So your minimum viable day is something that usually kind of is a through line. For us, we talked about it being the reading and math, right? That's our minimum viable work. But this is instead saying, here's the week ahead, and you know your calendars, you know all the stuff you've got going on. Just pick a couple things you want to focus on that week. And then the next week, it could be something different, right? So it can be a big 3, it can be a big 2, whatever you decide you want to focus on. But you basically say, for this week, this is where I'm going to put my energy. So I like that because it just gives you something new to be like, okay, that's the goal that I'm driving to, whatever that thing is. Maybe it's, we are going to finish that chapter book that we've been trying to finish for a while. The kids have, we've been trying to, I've been trying to read the first Harry Potter book with my youngest, and it's been like, it's taken like 6 months. And finally, there was, a week ago, I was like, my whole goal this week is to finish this book with her because we never have time to sit down and just finish. And she's like, right at the end, they're about to go through the trapdoor and we just cannot find time to finish it. So I just said, like, that's my thing. And I found a time and we did it. And then we watched the end of the movie and she was so happy. It was such a great finish. And I had felt like I was really letting her down. So if there's something that's been weighing on your mind, like, I keep wanting to get to science and we never get to science and I'm feeling guilty about it, maybe that's one of your goals for next week. Maybe you can let some other things go and say, I'm going to focus this week because I'm feeling like this is what's weighing on my heart and my mind right now. I want to get this done, whatever it is.
Absolutely. Okay. I like that. I like those ideas. I think the final one here is something that, oh my gosh, like 6 or 7 months ago when all of this crazy stuff that we're going through right now was starting to get planned, I purposely wanted this thing, which is purposely planning white space in your week. And for me, it has to be the week. Now, you could do it as the day. Say, okay, from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, it's white space. We don't ever schedule anything in this time. We make sure we're probably home in this time and you get that time. For me, it's Mondays. Mondays are my white space day. No matter what is happening, we have crazy stuff going on during the week, Tuesday to Friday. Saturdays are always volleyball or whatever's going on. Sundays are very busy. I have writers group and you have other things going on, plays and whatnot. So we always have, it's always busy, Tuesday to Sunday. Monday is wide open. And yes, sometimes dentist appointments and doctor's visits and all those things get scheduled in there, but there's really never anything scheduled on that day. And I can't tell you like the last, as we've been in this crazy cycle that we're doing right now, the last few Mondays have just been like, like just huge breaths of fresh air, because it's like, I don't have to do anything today. I can just homeschool. I can be with the kids. We can go for a walk. We can laugh and play and connect. And I just don't have to worry about this idea of white space purposely. It's almost like you
book out your calendar.
Yeah, it's like the thing that people say is like, put it in your calendar. Clear the schedule in this section and use that time for your own. For me, the last few Mondays have been just absolutely dreams with the girls. It's really been kind of a nice, relaxing moment because it has been very frantic. And these Mondays are just like, they're almost like reset days. It's really nice.
Yeah, I think it's really important. We tend to only have things in our calendar that we have to go do. Yeah. And those recharge moments, we don't think that there's something that we have to do. They're absolutely something we have to do. So whatever that time is, whether it's time that you want to connect, it's time that you need to relax. It's
the good night of sleep. Like it's kind of like, for me,
Right.
it's like a good night of sleep.
Maybe it's that unstructured playtime. Sometimes I feel like our girls, we're so busy at the moment. We have so many things going on that we have to do that they don't get a lot of time to just sit and play imaginatively or do their Legos or their dolls.
Even be bored a little bit,
Right. There isn't that much time for that. And so, it can be really helpful to just say, you know what, we've got this freedom here and I'm going to go ahead and put it on the calendar. Yep. Nothing. The answer is nothing. We're going to do nothing here. I think it's a little easier to say no when, a play date could come up or something else, or, a doctor's appointment. It's like, oh, no, I can't take that block. That block I've already blocked that out. So whatever that is, if you can block out your afternoons, awesome. Maybe it's your Saturdays or just your Saturday afternoons or whatever. We had was it Sunday last weekend or Saturday that we actually had nothing going? We had no one coming over for dinner.
Played games.
We played games. We ate appetizers for dinner, which was really fun.
Let the girls pick what they wanted.
Yeah. So it was like it's dinner of taquitos and mozzarella sticks.
The little mini tacos from
Costco. And meatballs. And it was like a crazy appetizer dinner.
Like a New Year's Eve type of thing.
It was like that. And we played board games because we realized we woke up in the morning. We're like, wait a second.
We don't have to do anything.
We actually don't have nothing to do. And it's rainy. Oh my goodness. This is amazing.
I think we all slept in too. It was crazy.
I mean, it was wonderful.
It was a glorious day. I will remember that day.
So these are just a few things to start thinking about as you're looking at juggling. I don't think any of us are going to become less busy. I think it's the easy answer to say, well, just don't do as many things. Don't take on as much. And it's like, that's easier said than done. Yep. And we do, as much as we are very busy, we like being busy. We like being active. We like the sports and the dance and the play dates with friends and all the classes they get to do.
And all that stuff,
we love all of that stuff. And I don't think we would give those things up, but it's about taking the rest of our time and making sure that we don't feel undue stress about what we have decided to do. Mm-hmm. So here's just some food for thought, some things to start shifting your mindset. And next week, we're going to talk about more kind of practical tools and things to help us with our never-ending juggle. Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time.
Happy homeschooling!